Okay, so the name of 25 and 26, so objective 25 is simplify polynomial expressions using multiplication. Okay, so instead of a binomial times a binomial and doing our distribute FOIL, we just have one extra term that we're distributing. Okay, and then on 26, it says multiply binomials by trinomials, and this one will have multiple steps to it with some order of operations and brackets. Okay, a little bit longer than the one that you have on the board. And again, I'm just doing 4. Yeah, I'm sure. This is what I do. I'm going to attach her to this computer, and when she brings a chair, then the computer goes.
Feels so weird.
Okay, so starting with the first one being distributed. Okay, so I'm distributing the x to the x squared. So we add, just like we've been doing. Okay, so x to the third. Then we distribute again, so that would be positive 2x squared. And then distribute the last one, so positive 3x. Okay, so we've already distributed to all three things. So now we need to go to this one and distribute 3 times. Okay, so it's going to go just like we did with the last one. So it's going to be a positive 4x squared, positive 8x, and then a positive 12, and then just look for your like terms. Okay, so we have x to the third, don't have another x to the third, so it stays the same. X to the second, and then a 4x to the second, so that would give us 6x to the second, and then a 3x and an 8x, 11x, and then 12x. Okay, so just make sure that we're in descending order, which we attack them in that way anyways. Good? Okay, so this next one is the same thing, but the way they have it written is flipped. So the trinomial is first and the binomial is second versus the binomial being first. You can, yeah. Okay, so I'm distributing my first one just to 2 things. Okay, so 3k to the second times 5k would be 15k to the third. Okay, then distributing that would be 18k to the second. Okay, so I'm done distributing my first one because there was only 2 things to distribute to. Okay, so now I'm going to distribute this one. And then distribute this one, and it only has to go to 2 things. So a negative 2 times k would be a negative 10k squared. That one times that one is going to be a negative 12k. Okay, and then my last one is just distributing this twice. Okay, so a negative 8 times 5 would be a negative 40k. And then a negative 8 times 6 would be a negative 40. Okay, so on all of these, just like the last one that we did, you should have 6 things when you're distributing. So if you think you forgot one, or didn't distribute it right, like that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this one stays the same. Okay, I have a k to the second and a k to the second, so it would be a positive 8k to the second. These guys, it's got to be a negative 52k, and then minus 8. So yes, if you want to rewrite them, they'll be on your worksheet that way when you get them. So if you feel like rewriting them to distribute, you can, but you don't have to. Good? Okay, so now we get to just a little bit of longer multiple steps where you may or may not lose track of your negatives. Okay, so number 87. Okay, so order of operations tells us to take care of exponents first. Okay, so we have an exponent here, so this needs to do what with this term?
We need to write it twice.
Write it twice. So I have a negative 2c minus 1 that I'm writing twice. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and distribute it, okay, and then work my way through the rest of it. So that times that, negative 2 times negative 2 would be a positive 4c squared. Okay, then that one's going to be another positive 2c. This would be another positive 2c, and then negative times negative positive 1. Combine our two middle terms. So now I have 4c squared plus 4c plus 1. Okay, so that was just taking care of that part. Okay, there's a negative on the outside that's attached to what this became. So what is going to happen to all of those? They switch to the opposite, right? Which these are all positive. So we'll switch to a negative. Good to there? Okay, so that's taking care of that. So now we're really doing it again, other than these two. Did I do something wrong?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to distribute these guys, okay, and then switch it to the opposite sign. So some of you, as you're writing them, you'll just go ahead and switch them, which is fine. Just make sure you don't forget to do it.
Wait, no, I didn't.
What I do?
Negative 1 times negative 2c, isn't that positive 2c?
Yeah.
And then the 6. My bad.
Good? Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's Monday. I can fill this out. Okay, a negative 3 times 4c is going to be a negative 12c squared. Okay, then that's going to be a positive 6c. Make me double guess myself. Negative 8c. Okay, and then a negative times a negative would be a positive 4. Okay, I know I'm going to combine these two, but I'm going to go ahead and start switching my sign so I can write it down here. Okay, so when I distribute that negative to that negative, it's going to change it to a positive 12c to the third. Okay, this is going to be a negative 2c, but I want to change it to a what? Positive 2c. Okay, because that gave me a negative 2c, but then when I take that negative, it's going to change it. Okay, and then I have a positive 4, so I'm going to switch it to a what? Negative. Okay, so that was a positive 4, but because of the negative, I'm switching it back to a negative. Okay, so now we just need to, from 6c minus 8c, I combine those two middle terms. Just like we do when we have here, we have the 2c and the 2c. We good? Okay. Okay, combine like terms. So I have a negative 4c squared and a positive 12c squared. It's going to give me 8c squared. Okay, so I got rid of that one and that one. Okay, then we have a negative 4c and a positive 2c. So that'd be a negative 2c for that one and that one. Oh, I have a 12. That's a 2. I'm going to put a 3. Look at that.
Yeah, it's
weird.
I can't tell if you.
Yeah,
I can't tell if you.
that should have been, yes, it's this one right there that I switched to a positive. I was like, where did that just kind of, I'm glad you're reading my mind. Okay, and then a -1 and a -4, so that'd be a negative. Okay, we're good? Okay, try it one more time, just a little bit different. Got some brackets. These will be the longest ones, obviously. Okay, so that says 5 minus 3, and then it's a bracket. And then -5 parentheses 4x squared plus x, into parentheses minus x plus 4 with the parentheses around it, and then x plus 3 with parentheses around it, and then into bracket. Are we good? Okay, so I am going to work with the innermost part first, which technically you could do either this one or this one. Okay, I'm going to do this one and then work my way backwards going that way. Okay, so distributing, that's going to be x squared. That's going to give me a 3x, and that's going to give me a 4x. So that would give me how much? 7x. Okay, I'm just going to cut some space out of here. Okay, and then 4 times 3 would give me 12. Okay, so there was a negative outside of those two parentheses, so that means that all three of those are going to change to a what? Negative. Okay, so it's going to be a negative x squared, oops, so negative 7x and a minus 12. Okay, we're good there? Okay, so now I'm going to distribute this guy. So that's going to give me a negative 20x squared. And then I have a negative 5 times x is what's it? Just negative 5x. Okay, so that is inside the bracket. So if I wrote this down here with this one. Okay, this is inside the bracket. So we need to see if there's any like terms that we can combine. So I have a negative 20x squared and a negative x squared. So that'd be a negative 21x squared. For that one and that one. Okay, then I have a negative 5x and a negative 7x. So that would be a negative 12x. And then a negative 12. Okay, so that was what was inside the bracket that was simplified. Good so far? Okay, what's my next step? Multiply the negative 3. Okay, so that goes to all three of those. So it's going to give me a positive 63 x squared, and then a positive 36x, and then a positive again 36. Okay, what's my last step that I need to add 5? So I'm adding the 5 onto the 36 at the end, right? Okay, so it's just going to be 63x squared plus 36x plus 41. And done. So I honestly don't think this is a whole lot harder, just extra steps. Slow down, pay attention to your negatives. Today when you're working on it, just make sure you're comparing when you get done, make sure you're not losing track of things. Okay. Hopefully, if not, it's okay, well, because I want everybody to have time to finish it. So we're going to do the try it. If we have time today, we'll grade it. If not, we'll grade it tomorrow before the lesson quiz. If you finished early, you check going on to your hours and chipping away at it. A couple of people asked me, hey, it's giving me another test. It does that after you've spent, I think it's like 5 hours maybe on it, then it sends you another check it thing. Okay, and it just kind of is making sure you are okay to move on. And if not, then it'll move you on to things that you are getting and maybe review some things that you're still not grasping. Okay, that's what those are. But they still give you points. Okay, so ignore that it says there's another test. Should I do it? Yes. Okay, it's another check to see if you're understanding. Okay, so and again for tomorrow you'll have this section of notes and then the last section of notes that you'll hand in with the lesson quiz. Okay.
I didn't know I should want to say that. I was grabbing what was in there right there. It's like,
Okay, I'll correct you.
It's Monday, I'm still. I know, I was like, thank you.